Hey everybody, today is 911 Turbo S testing day. Finally, I got some time to get this car out and go through all the different modes, traction on, traction off, sport response. It's got active air on the front and back and all the different modes to figure out which is the best and most efficient mode to launch this car. The Turbo S is super easy to launch. I'm gonna go over how to use launch control, which is basically just hammer on the brake and nail the gas and let go. But there are a lot of different modes you can try out. And I went through and tried out every mode possible to try and get the best, the absolute best numbers out of the Porsche Turbo S. What I'm gonna do some street testing of all the different modes, and then we're heading out to a private airstrip to do quarter-mile and half-mile testing with the Porsche Turbo S. Now, as you can see, I know a lot of people were waiting for the debut of the Revuelto. As you can see, it is blank. I actually have some Revuelto stuff here. I got my infotainment screen protectors, I got my car cover, and I got the big charging thing right here. But unfortunately, the day I picked up the Revuelto, I got a check engine light, I dropped it off. It's been at the dealer for 10 days now, and hopefully I'm getting it back today so I can do some content. But in the meantime, we got the Porsche Turbo S. So let's load up, get in the car. I'm gonna go over all the different launch modes. We're gonna do a bunch of 0 to 60 tests on the street, then we're heading out to the half mile. Keep in mind, it is like 97 degrees out in Florida. It's humid. DA's like 2,500, so none of the numbers are gonna be crazy good, but I think we'll get good enough. And of course, when the weather cools down, we will try again. One of the first things I realized when I got the Porsche Turbo S, it comes with 21-inch wheels in the back. So I'm used to putting on a Toyota tire, that 20-inch Toyota I put on all my cars. That is not gonna be an option for this, or for that matter, the Revuelto, which comes with 22-inch wheels. So drop in the comments if you got any ideas to put a stickier tire on this or maybe change the wheels up. All right, so first up, let's talk about the drive modes. I've had this car quite a while. I got over 1,300 miles on it so far. You switch the drive modes using this. So you have down here, you got wet, you got normal, sport, sport plus, and individual. Individual lets you kind of program all the different things you want for that mode. And the choices are basically your drive mode, sport exhaust, spoiler extended, and your chassis settings. So the best mode for acceleration testing is actually sport, because that means it doesn't drop the front air dam and the rear spoiler, and that will result in less drag. So if you do have it in Sport Plus, as soon as you start moving, the rear spoiler raises up and the front air dam drops down. Another setting here for your sport suspension, you can leave that on for sporty. I would leave that off. Maybe it'll give a little more weight transfer with a softer suspension. I'm also going to be testing with and without traction control. This has two settings. You press it once, it'll say PSM Sport Vehicle Stability System Restricted. But if you hold it down, when it's off and you hold it down for a long period of time, it'll go into PSM turned off. So we're going to try normal, traction off level 1, and traction off level 2. So to launch a car, if you're in normal or sport mode, you can't just launch it by doing this. It won't go. You actually have to press the sport response button there, and then it'll engage launch control. That's a little weird, but if you're in Sport Plus, you do not have to press this button. It goes right into launch control. So since our preferred method is to be in sport with the spoilers retracted, we will be using the sport response button to engage launch control. When it gets up to 5,000, let go, and off you go. Okay, so testing all the different modes from sport. I did do Sport Plus with the aero down as well. I tried traction level 1, traction level 2, and after about a dozen tries, the best 0 to 60 time here was actually 2.49 seconds without the rollout, and with the rollout, it was 2.34. I think Porsche says this car does 0 to 60 in like 2.6, so definitely an overachiever. I think the Porsche 911 Turbo S is probably the most efficient launching car out there. I mean, the all-wheel drive, it's only got 640 horsepower, but it uses it really well, even though this car is like 3,500 pounds. It is just so consistent. Most of the runs were like 249, 250, 251, 252, 253, all in that range, all depending on kind of where you are on the street and what kind of traction you're getting. I did notice that it does cut a little bit of power if you have the traction control on, and this car's not making that much power, so it's really still very stable, even though you're running with traction control off. So end of story for street testing. Turn traction control all the way off, put it in sport mode, retract the front and rear spoilers, and launch away. You'll do 0 to 60 in 2.34 seconds. Now, we are off to the Airstrip to meet out the Fast or Nothing guys. We are doing some testing for a half-mile event that's coming up in December. They wanted to bring out a few cars to test out the Airstrip, see what the surface is like, see how smooth it was and so forth. So it's gonna be a great time. So I'm gonna do some half-mile testing in the Turbo S, and then we'll set up some races for some subsequent videos. Half mile, let's go. We're out at the Airstrip with Fast or Nothing. We're getting set up for their half-mile event, which is in December, and they needed someone to come out and test out this 1 mile Airstrip. So we brought out some friends. We got Giddy here with the twin turbo Lambo. I think he's at 1200 horsepower. My stock Turbo S, unfortunately, I might have the slowest car here today, which kind of sucks, but we got a 200S. I think it's making around 900 horsepower, and they're loading up race gas over here and the 765 LT Spider, and this is making well over 1,000, probably like 1,100 horsepower. So first up, we just marked off the half mile, and I'm gonna go give a test run in the Turbo S. Let's see what we do, half mile Turbo S. Here we go, half mile test in the Turbo S. I got the Draggy hooked up. I'm engaging launch control. I'm gonna hit the sport response button, and then we're gonna let it rip. Here we go. And we're off. Oh, it's a pretty good launch. And here we go. That was 60. That was a half mile. Speedo showed about 170, and I got plenty of room to slow down here. And there we go. There's our first run down this amazing Airstrip. Wow. And we're off. Oh, it's a pretty good launch. And here we go. That was 60. All right, here we go. We got another shot. We got Sport Response Plus on. Nice. 60. About the same launch, 0 to 60 in 2.5. 130, quarter mile. Put Response Plus on. Nice. 60. About the same launch, 0 to 60 in 2.5. 130, quarter mile. Half mile. All right, so a little better that time. We got 10:26 in the quarter mile, 133.97, so 134, picking up a little speed. Half mile better, 16:25 at 163, and 60 to 130 was 7.04. When the weather cools off, this car is going to go a lot better. 0 to 60 was 2.36 seconds.